Today, let's decompose rectangles to find their area. Okay, let's look at our problems here. We're going to find the value of each product. All right, so on our first one, it has 3 times 20. So in order to make this a little bit easier, I'm going to take off that 0 for now, and I'm going to multiply your 3 times 2. So 3 times 2 is the 6. And then I'm going to add that 0 back at the end. So my product would be 60. Okay, let's look at the next one. 3 times 24. So I'm going to think of this as 3 times 20. Just like the first one, take off that 0 on the end, do the 3 times 2. That's going to be 6. And then add the 0 back at the end, so that's 60. And then we're going to do the 3 times the 4. 3 times 4 is what? 12. So I'm going to take the 12 and the 60, and I'm going to add those together. 60 plus my 12, that gives me 72. Okay, let's look at the 5 times 2. I know that one, 5 times 2, that's going to be 10. Okay, let's look at this next one. 5 times 2.5, so that's going to be 5 times, and then I'm going to take that 2.5, and I'm going to change it to an improper fraction. So remember, to change it to an improper fraction, you're going to multiply the whole and your denominator. So 2 times 2 is 4, and we're going to add the numerator to it. So 4 plus 1 is 5, and we're going to leave your denominator the same. 5 times 5 halves. Whole times numerator. 5 times 5 is 25. So 5 times the 5 halves is 25 halves. All right, let's look at our problems here. Okay, so Noah's garden is 5 yards by 6 1/4 yards. Draw a diagram of the garden on the grid. Okay, so here's our diagram. So we have length 6 1/4 times our 5. Okay, so what we can do here is I can multiply my holes first. I can do that. That's going to give me 30. Okay, and then we're going to do, let's do the 5 1/4. So that's going to be 30 5/4. So I know that 4/4 gives me 1 whole, and so I've got 4/4 gives me a whole. So let's add that to that 30. That'll give 31, and then I still have 1/4 left over from that 5/4. So my answer would be 30 1/4. Okay, let's look at our next one there. Pyra's garden is 6 by 5 1/4. So we've drawn our picture there. And we're going to make that equation. 6 times 5 1/4. Okay. So we can do it this way. We can do our holes. We can do 6 times 5. That's going to give me 30. And then I can take the 6 times 1/4. That's going to give me whole times your numerator is 6. And so 6 times 1/4 would be 6/4. So I know that 1 whole is 4/4. So 6/4 would be 1 whole and 2 more fourths. So I'm going to take that 1 whole and that 30 wholes, add them together, and I still have the 2/4 over here. All right, so when I look here, whose garden covers a larger area? Well, our second one would cover a larger area because our first one was 31 1/4. Our second one is 31 2/4. So on our second one, we would have 2/4. First one has 1/4, so our second one has a fourth bigger. So today we tried several different strategies for decomposing rectangles with a fractional side length to find the area of a rectangle. How can we describe the strategies we used today? Well, we can decompose the rectangle into smaller rectangles, and then we added the areas together. So we did our length times width, and we decomposed those rectangles and added the areas together.